everyone, this is Jackie Williams, and in this video I want to share with you a fun card front idea, but first I'll just show you quickly the products I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Softly Sophisticated stamp set and the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder, and both of these are celebration gifts. So I'm filming this December 2023. These will be available only January and February of 2024, and they are free with purchase, so even better. And I'm going to pair these with the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. Now there are 12 sheets in the pack. I've just brought 6. So you see that one side is bird images that can be used like this or cut out. And then the other side you have the more solid coordinating colors as well as a couple of floral prints. And these ones are a celebration gift as well. So they are free with purchase. So let's get started with our card. First, I just want to show you quickly, this is the card that I received in the mail from Sarah Douglas, who is the CEO of Stampin' Up. And it's a simple design, and I just quite like the idea of the diagonal cut using both sides of the paper, or at least coordinating papers. So I find it's easiest to you might as well just make 2 at the same time, and then they will just be reverse of each other unless the other sides actually match as well. So that's quite cool. And so what I'm going to do is stack them up, same size, and make sure that they're not the same sides facing up. So you've got, if you were using 2 of the same print, you would want one side with the B side and one side with the A side facing up. Then I'm just going to grab my trimmer. And you want one corner, and it doesn't even have to be this corner, but I'll use this corner for this demonstration. And then I have some samples to share with you at the end. So we want one corner in the cutting valley, and then just rotate the card a bit. It doesn't really matter how much, about 2 1/4, 2.5 inches. Could be less or more than that, it doesn't matter. And then you'll have 2 card fronts that look like this. Now, depending, of course, on the orientation of your paper, you could turn those around or have them horizontal, but I'll show you more samples of that. I actually think for this demonstration, I'm just going to do something different than the sample I prepared earlier, and I'm going to turn that around and use the other side of the paper. And then I'll have this piece here to make another card front, whether I use this side or the other side. Now I'm just going to take a little strip of scrap, because you will end up with some scraps as you cut these card fronts out. And because one of the nice things is all the papers coordinate, so you can use the little bits from other prints and work them in with this one. Before I put that on, I'm just going to take my sandpaper and just sand that edge a little bit. That's, of course, optional. Now, you can just use it just like this, like on this sample. You don't need to put in this extra piece. I just like that extra detail. So I'll just put adhesive along this diagonal edge. And you'll need quite a long piece because, of course, diagonal lengths is longer than the width of your actual card piece. And then just trim off the extra. Now let's go ahead and put that onto our mat. I'm using pecan pie because I've got that pecan pie strip. There we go. Now I want to stamp our flowers. And the Softly Sophisticated stamp set is photopolymer, so you will get the best result if you stamp on a stamping mat. And I'm going to use these 2 images. Now, you may have noticed, but this is a 2-step stamping, which is really brilliant when you're stamping flowers and things, because then you could stamp the greenery in one color, and then the flowers in another color, and then the words in another color. And it makes it nice and quick and easy. Now, the print has quite a watercolored look to it. And so I found if I just stamped directly, it looked a little bit out of place. So I'm just going to show you a really easy technique. Now you could do this with your ink pads. You don't have to use the markers, but I'm just putting a little bit of soft seafoam on here. And then if you want, I'm just adding a little bit of Old Olive, just dabbing it on. And then to get the watercolored effect, I'm actually going to spritz with water, and I'm just going to move everything else out of the way. So this just has water in it, and I want to move it about at least 6 inches, maybe 8 or 12 inches away, and just spritz it like once. Okay, and then we're going to stamp that down. And then I'll do the same thing with the flowers. Now for the flowers, there are both pink and purple flowers in this, so I think I'm just gonna use a little mix of both of those colors. I'll put fresh freesia on, and then I'll add a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo in the center of the flowers, and then we'll give that a little spritz. And then the little flower goes here in this bud. There we go, and we have a soft watercolored effect. Now to cut this out, I want to use the new perennial postage dies, and I thought these were cute, and it fits just nicely to make a little postage stamp. Cute. Now it looks okay on its own, but I did find that it looks even a little bit better if it's got a backing, just to bring out those scalloped edges. But before we put that onto our pecan pie, I just want to add a little bit of linen thread wrapped around, starting about there. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it all the way around. Normally I would not wrap it across the back, but this piece is so small, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Okay, then I've cut one of these postage stamps also in vellum, so I'm going to put that on. Now, it's the same size, so it's just going to be kind of offset. It's a very, very subtle detail. And we'll put this on with dimensionals. And before we put our postage stamp on, I just want to tie a little bow under here. You could tie it and stick it on later, but I like to have it very secure and to actually tie it onto the card. So I'm going to put it right over to the edge though. And then we'll put the postage stamp image on also with dimensionals, because you've got that linen thread underneath, so it would be quite lumpy if you tried to stick it down flat. And then just get your linen thread bow how you want it. I'm going to leave it like that, actually kind of long and loopy. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for the minute. Then we have our white card base, and then I've done a layer on the card base using that softly sophisticated embossing folder. And you see that it's got like a stitched effect, which is quite nice. That would be quite pretty over some strips of card to create a quilted effect. And we'll put that onto the card front with dimensionals. You could make this slightly smaller so you can see a little bit more of the embossing folder. And I forgot to stamp the words. So I've actually pulled that off, and we'll stamp our words quickly. I'll just use Memento Black, and I'm using the Hello from this stamp set. And there's a little bit more of a gap right here. So just to keep the balance right, I'll put it over here on this side. There we go. And then to finish, I have the new Fine Shimmer Purple Gems. I think we will go with the purple ones this time. And those match in quite well. These are actually from the new Lavender Suite, but they still work in quite well with the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. Okay, let me show you some other samples that I've made with this technique. So here's one using the same papers and stamp set, but I've used a smaller postage stamp and turned the orientation horizontally, and use, of course, the other side of these same papers. Then this is the original one that I received, of course, and then here's one that we made up, and for this one we used the garden walk papers and alternated the sides, so you see that the diagonals on this side and then the diagonals on that side, so you can change it up how you like. And then this one is from the new Lighter Than Air suite, and this is one that's also coming in January, or you can order it in December when you join my team of demonstrators. and cute hot air balloon and really pretty papers. And then here's one that I made using the Garden Walk Suite with the Modern Garden flowers and the Garden Walk papers. So this time I've put the diagonal across the top, so you can do that too. And these are using the same papers, and this one's across the bottom. And instead of adding flowers, I just kept it really simple and just added words and a couple of leaves. And same with this one, same pack of paper, but just kept it really simple and just let the designer series paper do all the talking. But I did like here how the images on the paper and the stamps coordinate, so I could bring some elements over to this side and balance it out just a little bit. And then this card I actually didn't make. This is from my team member Julia. Sent it to me for my birthday, but I did notice that it was the same sort of concept. It's quite nice. And then last, this is a Christmas card that I made recently for an online class. And this time I've oriented it horizontally and put the diagonal on this side and added a little bit of that distressed gold there in the cut for something a little bit different. So there you go. I hope you had fun with this one and that you grab your designer series paper and give this easy card front a try. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Jackie Williams. Please subscribe and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye. Oh, that looks terrible. I forgot to stamp the words.